I sink into my favorite leather armchair, kicking off my work boots and flexing my sore toes. Restoring the Buchanan house took every ounce of energy today. Rotted floorboards, crumbling plaster, and a century-old staircase that resisted every repair. My muscles ache in that rewarding way that only comes after a long day's work. My phone buzzes on the coffee table. I ignore it at first, reaching for the glass of Cabernet I poured 10 minutes ago. The dark red wine glows in the fading sunlight streaming through my Craftsman windows. The buzzing continues. I take a long sip, then reach for the phone and scroll through the notifications. More messages from clients and contractors, the usual. Then I see it. My thumb stops mid-scroll. A photo of my sister Nyla, draped in white satin, her smile soft beneath a sheer veil. The caption reads, "Final fitting for the big day. Nyla and Travis." Forever after, my chest tightens. Wedding? What wedding? I swipe frantically through my feed. Photo after photo fills the screen. My cousin Marissa showing off bridesmaid dresses, Aunt Rosa arranging flowers, my mother holding embossed invitation samples, an invitation I never received. I click the newest post. The comments roll in, "Can't wait to celebrate with you next month." The venue looks beautiful. "So happy to be part of your special day." 57 comments, relatives, friends, old classmates, everyone's invited. Everyone but me. The phone rings, startling me. "Mom," Cynthia Alvarez flashes across the screen. Perfect timing. I answer. "Mom." "Deborah, sweetheart." Her tone is too careful, rehearsed. "I was just thinking about you. How's work?" My hand curls into a fist. Work's fine. I just saw Nyla's wedding dress on Instagram. Silence stretches for a few seconds. "Oh," she clears her throat. "I was going to call you about that." My own sister's wedding? Was my invitation lost? "Deborah," she says, the disapproval creeping in. "Don't make this about you. You know how sensitive Nyla is." Sensitive? What does that— You're always so busy with your job. Nyla thought you wouldn't come anyway. The room suddenly feels colder. I stand and look out the window, the Denver skyline glowing in the distance. "So you all decided not to invite me?" "To my sister's wedding?" "Travis values family," she says, as if that explains it. "And I'm not family?" My voice cracks. "Of course you are. But you know how things have been. After I criticized her cafe, I co-signed her loan, $22,000, and repaid it after she walked away from the business. She had the children to think about," my mother says firmly. "Single motherhood isn't easy, Deborah." I press my forehead to the cool glass. Old memories surface. Nyla at 10, breaking grandma's vase while I took the blame. Nyla at 17, sneaking out while I covered for her. Me at 16, earning an engineering scholarship. Mom's only reaction. "Of course you did. You're the responsible one. The responsible one. Always." "I haven't been forgotten, Mom," I whisper. "I've been erased." "Now you're being dramatic," she sighs, like I'm the unreasonable one. "We can talk later." I have to help Nyla with the seating charts. The call ends. I stare at the phone as more wedding photos appear. Nyla twirling in her dress, Travis tasting cakes, my parents beaming beside them. A complete family portrait, minus me. Texts flood in. "Jenna, did you see?" "Call me." "Marcus from work. What's going on with your sister's wedding?" "Even Mrs. Henderson next door. Dear, are you aware of what's happening?" Even people on the sidelines of my life notice my exclusion. I sink back into the chair, the weight of 35 years pressing down. I've built a career restoring old homes, bringing forgotten places back to life. But I can't repair my place in this family. The truth hits hard and cold. For years, I've been the fixer, the dependable one, the constant support. I've co-signed loans, babysat on demand, stayed up through breakdowns, always showing up when others didn't, and this is what I get. Erased. The phone buzzes again. I silence it and set it face down on the table. Through the window, the mountains west of Denver glow copper in the fading light. Beyond them lies Boulder, my parents' Victorian home, where Nyla moved back after her divorce, where they're now planning a wedding without me. Something shifts inside me. Not anger, not grief, but something steadier. A calm decision. This time, I whisper into the quiet room, I won't fix what they've broken. I pick up my phone and open Instagram once more. With deliberate calm, I begin unfollowing my sister, then my mother. My father, my cousins. Each tap feels like letting go of a weight I've carried far too long. This isn't revenge, it's resolution. A boundary drawn. As the last golden light fades from my window, the living room sinks into shadow. I don't turn on the lights. Instead, I sit quietly, surrounded by dusk, feeling lighter than I have in years. For once, I'm not rushing to fix what's broken in the family. The silence that follows feels like freedom. My tires crunch along the gravel driveway leading to my parents' Victorian house in Boulder. Morning sunlight catches the stained glass above the front door, scattering ruby and amber hues across the porch. The house stands proud against the mountains, its ornate trim and sweeping eaves as familiar as my own reflection. I grip the steering wheel, knuckles whitening. It's been 3 days since I learned about Nyla's wedding, and 3 days of ignored calls from everyone except Mom, whose voicemails have grown increasingly emotional. In the garage doorway stands Dad, Hector Alvarez, half hidden behind his ongoing projects. Today it's his 1967 Mustang, the same one he's been restoring since I was in high school. He straightens as he notices my car, wiping his hands on a worn rag. His eyes flick toward the house, then back to me. No wave. I turn off the engine and step into the June heat. Dad, Debbie. He nods, stepping back into the garage. Your mother's inside. Of course she is, and of course he won't stand beside her for this conversation. Some habits never change. The screen door creaks as I enter. The house smells of cinnamon and coffee, Mom's version of comfort in times like these. She appears in the kitchen doorway, her face carefully arranged in concern. Deborah, I was just about to call you. Cynthia Alvarez, always perfectly timed. Coffee? I made your favorite coffee cake. I don't want coffee. I stay near the entryway, hands in my pockets. I want to know why I wasn't invited to Nyla's wedding. Her smile falters, then reappears. Oh, honey, it's complicated. You've been so busy with your career. Don't. The single word stops her. That's not an answer. She turns back to the counter, fussing with the coffee pot. Nyla was afraid you might not approve of Travis. You can be intimidating. Intimidating, I repeat, because I asked questions after she introduced him 3 weeks into dating. He values family, Deborah, she says, setting 2 mugs down with unsteady hands. And you've always been so independent. The garage door opens. Dad walks in, eyes on the floor. Don't make this harder than it already is, he mutters. Harder for who? I ask, my voice tight. For Nyla? For Travis? Or for you two, always covering for her? Mom's eyes glisten with practiced tears. That's not fair. Fair? The word bursts out of me. Was it fair when I co-signed that business loan for her cafe? $22,000, Mom. I paid that back after she walked away from it 9 months later. She had the kids to think about, Dad says, finally meeting my gaze. After Eric left. Eric left 4 years ago. The cafe mess was last year. I step closer. I've been paying it off while she posts vacation photos from Sedona. Single motherhood isn't easy, Mom whispers. And Travis is her second chance, Dad adds, sounding almost rehearsed. He's got a good job in pharmaceutical sales. He can provide stability. So she's found her provider, I say flatly. And I'm the embarrassment now? The truth settles in with their silence. Did Travis say he doesn't want me there? I ask. Their silence deepens. That's my answer. He thinks I don't care about my family. I laugh, sharp, humorless. That's rich, coming from a man who's known her for what, 7 months? Please try to understand, Mom says softly, reaching for my arm. This wedding means everything to her. After the cafe, after Eric. Emma and Lucas deserve stability, Dad adds. Always the children, used as shields. 8-year-old Emma and 6-year-old Lucas, brought up whenever Nyla's choices need defending. And what about me? I ask quietly. What do I deserve after paying off her debts? After spending every weekend babysitting so she could go on dates? After hearing her cry over Eric at 2 a.m. for months? You're stronger, Mom says as if it's a compliment. You've always been the responsible one. The responsible one. The family ATM. The unpaid therapist, the emergency babysitter, but never the sister worth including. I turn toward the door, suddenly drained. The weight of their expectations and quiet manipulation feels heavier than the timber beams I installed in the Buchanan house yesterday. Deborah, please, Mom follows. We're family, I pause at the door. Is that what we are? Dad steps forward. Where are you going? Away from here, I say simply. If Nyla wants a perfect wedding, she can have it, without me. I leave them standing in the doorway, faces marked with confusion, as if they can't grasp that this time. I won't take the hit. 20 minutes later, I slide into a booth at Copper Kettle, the cafe where Jenna works. She spots me, brings over a latte without asking, and takes the seat across from me. That bad, huh? Jenna's known me since college. She can recognize the aftermath of a family argument. Worse. I wrap my hands around the warm mug. Travis doesn't think I care about family. That's why I wasn't invited. Travis? She snorts. The guy who's known your sister for 5 minutes thinks he can decide who cares about family? Apparently. Jenna looks around, then pulls out her phone. Speaking of Travis, she slides it across the table. Kelly took these last night at Downtown Lounge. The photos show Travis, arm around a blonde woman who definitely isn't my sister. They're laughing, leaning close. In the last photo, he's kissing her neck. My stomach tightens, not in shock, but with bitter confirmation. When was this taken? Last night. Around 11, I push the phone back. And what am I supposed to do with this? Jenna blinks. Tell your sister? Tell your parents? Stop the wedding before she marries a cheater? The old me would have done exactly that. I would have jumped in to protect Nyla, taken her anger when she turned it on me. No. The word feels strange, but right. I'm not doing that. Deborah, this time I'll let the truth reveal itself. I sip my cooling latte. I'm not invited, remember? It's not my place. Jenna studies me. That doesn't sound like you. Maybe it should. The thought settles in, not with guilt, but with certainty. I've spent my life cleaning up Nyla's chaos. And look where it got me. Excluded from her wedding. Exactly, Jenna says softly. I straighten. So let Travis be Travis. Let Nyla make her own choices. I'm done being the family's safety net. And if she marries him, then she marries him. The words should sting more than they do. But I can't save someone who refuses to see the truth. For once, I'm not rushing to stop the inevitable disaster brewing in my family. The stillness feels heavy, but underneath it, there's something new. Relief. That evening, I pour a glass of Cabernet and settle into my window seat. The Denver skyline glitters in the dark. My phone lies face down on the table, deliberately silent. 3 weeks have passed since I learned I was excluded from Nyla's wedding. Today's the big day at Ridgewood Estate. The name itself reeks of old money and exclusivity. According to Jenna, Mom spent weeks decorating the historic mansion with white roses and gold accents. 150 guests. Local press covering the wedding of Travis Reed, prominent engineer, and my sister, the eternal damsel. I take a slow sip, savoring the wine's richness. For the 10th time today, I resist checking social media. What would it change? Instead, I pick up my worn copy of Restoration Ethics and Historical Architecture. Work always grounds me, but then my phone buzzes again and again. The steady rhythm grates against my nerves. I finally set the book aside and look to 27 notifications, all in 4 minutes. My thumb hesitates. Part of me wants to turn it off and finish my wine in peace. But that old habit, the responsible reflex, makes me swipe. A video fills the screen, shaky footage from Ridgewood's grand ballroom. White roses everywhere, just as Jenna described. Guests in formal wear gathered near the walls. In the center, Nyla and Travis. My sister's mascara streaks down her face, her perfect white dress clenched in her fists as she screams something I can't make out. Travis stands over her. Tuxedo jacket hanging open, tie loose around his neck. His expression twists with fury. You knew I was seeing someone? He yells, voice breaking through my phone speaker. You set me up? Nyla pushes against his chest, eyes blazing. Everyone knew, Travis. You weren't exactly subtle. Then it happens. Travis's arm swings out, his open hand striking my sister's face. The sound echoes through the ballroom. Gasps ripple through the crowd. The camera jolts, shaking as the person filming reacts. Oh my God, I whisper, hand over my mouth. The video abruptly ends. I scroll through my phone, piecing together the aftermath. Jenna Deborah. Are you seeing this? Marcus. Holy crap, just saw the Reed Alvarez disaster on Instagram. Mrs. Henderson next door. Dear, your family's on the news. Channel 9, I switched to the local news app. There it is, already trending. Society wedding ends in assault charges. The clip plays again, this time from another angle. I glimpse my mother's horrified face in the background. My father rushing forward before 2 men hold him back. The anchor's voice cuts through the footage. Police responded to the prestigious Ridgewood estate tonight after the groom. Travis Reed allegedly struck the bride, Nyla Alvarez, during what witnesses describe as an argument over infidelity claims. I turn off the phone and drop it on the couch beside me. My heartbeat pounds in my ears. A small, shameful part of me feels a grim sense of justice. But it's quickly replaced by concern for Nyla. Despite everything between us, seeing my sister hit on what should have been her happiest day makes my stomach twist. I drain my wine glass, pour another, and wait for what's inevitable. At 11:47 p.m., the phone rings. My mother's name lights up the screen. I let it ring 4 times, steadying myself before answering. Mom. Her sobs fill the line. Deborah, she chokes out, voice trembling. Your sister's hurt. Please come. I close my eyes, the familiar words forming automatically in my mind. I'll be right there. I'll fix it. I'll help, but I stop. Memories flood in, wedding photos I wasn't meant to see, years spent cleaning up Nyla's chaos, the debts still haunting me. I wasn't invited, Mom, I say softly. Showing up now would only make things worse. The silence between us lingers so long I can hear her uneven breathing. But she needs you, Cynthia finally whispers. She always needed you. No, I correct softly. She needed Travis. She needed stability, prestige, and the perfect wedding story. What she needed from me was my distance. That's not fair, Deborah. I know. I swirl the wine in my glass, watching reflections of city lights ripple through it. Neither was leaving me out. Another pause. I can almost picture her expression, measuring, searching for the same emotional leverage that always worked before. Guilt, family duty, the unspoken belief that Deborah will handle it. I'm sorry about what happened, I say after a moment, my tone gentler now. Truly, no one deserves that. But I'm not the answer this time. The call ends abruptly. I stare at the silent phone, feeling something subtle but significant shift within me. For the first time, I've chosen not to rush into a family emergency, and the calm that follows surprises me. That night, I sleep better than I have in years. The next evening, Jenna shows up with takeout from the Thai place on 17th Street. We sit at my kitchen island, the muted TV across the room looping clips of the wedding fiasco. You holding up okay? Jenna asks, twirling noodles with her fork. That was wild. Surprisingly well, I admit. Though the neighbors keep giving me those pitying looks when I check the mail, she chuckles. Mrs. Henderson asked if you needed help when I parked. I laugh. Of course she did. She even brought me banana bread this morning. The universal peace offering during chaos. Jenna grins, then her face turns serious. Your mom call yet? Last night, I reply. I didn't go. Her eyebrows lift. Seriously, that's new. Long overdue, I correct her. After dinner? Marcus texts to check in, something rare in my otherwise quiet routine. My coworker, often the outsider in his own family, has become an unexpected source of clarity. Saw more of the footage on the news. You doing okay? He writes. Better than I thought, I answer. Good. Some families only remember your worth when they need you to fix something. Believe me, I understand. His words stay with me. I'm still thinking about them when around 9, a knock sounds at the door. Through the peephole, I see my father, soaked from the sudden rain, no umbrella, his silver hair plastered to his face. He looks a decade older than the last time we spoke. Deborah, he calls, voice barely audible over the storm. Please, I need to talk to you. I rest my forehead against the door, feeling the faint vibration of his knocking. It's about the house, he adds, his voice breaking. The bank's threatening foreclosure. My hand freezes on the knob. Foreclosure? That Victorian home has been theirs for 35 years. A part of me wants to stay silent, to let him stand in the rain and taste what abandonment feels like, but the sight of his hunched shoulders and rain-soaked clothes stirs something old and unshakable inside me. With a quiet sigh, I turn the lock and open the door. You have 10 minutes, I tell him, stepping aside. And this better not be about Nyla. He steps inside, rainwater dripping from his coat, and shakes his head. It's worse than that, he says, pulling a thick manila envelope from his jacket. Much worse. As I close the door, a chill settles over me, one that has nothing to do with the weather. While he dries off, I fill the electric kettle. Some talks simply need tea. My hands tremble slightly as I take 2 mugs from the cabinet, bracing myself for whatever new family issue he's brought this time. When he reappears, he looks smaller somehow, weary. The envelope in his hands is damp and wrinkled. "We've been using your money for something else," he says quietly. The kettle whistles. I pour hot water over the tea bags, giving myself a moment to absorb his words. "What money?" "The monthly checks." "For the house?" I stare at him confused. "For the mortgage," I say slowly. "That's what you told me," he hesitates. "Not exactly." He slides the envelope across the table toward me. "It was for a loan. A home equity line of credit." I open the envelope and spread the papers out on the table. Bank statements, loan documents, foreclosure notices. My eyes stop at the number, $195,000. "You took out a HELOC?" He nods, his eyes fixed on his hands. "For Nyla. After Eric left, the kids needed some stability." I scan the paperwork, my stomach tightening when I see the co-signers, Cynthia Alvarez and Nyla Alvarez. "Dad, Nyla hasn't lived there in years. How could she co-sign?" He swallows. "Your mother told the bank she was living with us." The realization hits hard. The money I've been sending, it wasn't for the mortgage. It was paying off the HELOC. I grab a calculator, punching in the numbers with shaky hands. 4 years. 12 months? Why 100 each month? $82,000. My voice sounds detached, almost calm. "You've taken $82,000 from me under false pretenses. Deborah." He starts, but I cut him off. "Where did the money go?" I slam my palm against the table. A mug tips over, spilling tea across the papers. "Neither of us moves to clean it up. Nyla's debts," he says finally. "The legal fees after Eric left. The down payment on her new house. Travis had certain expectations about where they'd live. A bitter laugh escapes me, harsh and hollow. Even I'm surprised by the sound. Travis, the man who struck her at their wedding. That's the person who received my money? Dad doesn't respond. His silence says enough. I rise and walk to my office, every movement deliberate. I return with my phone and digital camera, begin photographing every document on the table. "What are you doing?" he asks. "Recording evidence," I reply, the camera shutter clicking sharply. "Fraud. To be exact, bank fraud. You falsified residence information on a loan application." "You can't do this," he says quietly. "I absolutely can," I answer, continuing to photograph, my hands now steady. "And I will. It'll ruin your mother. Nyla's kids." "Please don't," I raise a hand. "Don't try to blame me for this." I didn't lie. I didn't steal. His expression collapses. "We never meant—" "Yes, you did," I interrupt, setting the camera down and meeting his gaze. "You meant every bit of it. You just never thought you'd get caught." My phone buzzes. A text from Marcus, my colleague. "Bank contact info on the way." "My cousin works in mortgage fraud investigations," I tell Dad. "How much is left on the HELOC?" "About $70,000, he says, rubbing his face. "The foreclosure notice came yesterday. They're demanding the full amount." I continue photographing, each signature, each false statement, while he stands silent, the reality finally settling in. "Why now?" I ask at last. "Why tell me after all this time?" "Your mother thought we could refinance," he explains. "But after the wedding scandal went public, no bank would take us. And I couldn't live with it anymore. Not after what happened to you." My phone rings. I answer without checking. Jenna's voice comes through. "Heads up." The next day, I stand in my living room, assessing my setup with the precision I usually reserve for historic property inspections. The centerpiece, a restored oak dining table salvaged from an 1880s farmhouse, now serves a new purpose. Its surface tells a quiet story of betrayal through neatly arranged papers, photos, and bank statements. A knock breaks the silence. Aunt Rose arrives. I chose her intentionally, Dad's sister, the only one who never took sides. "You look tired, Mija," she says gently. Stepping inside, her silver-streaked hair frames eyes that look more resolved than weary. I straighten a pile of bank statements on the table. "Thank you for coming," I say. She squeezes my hand gently. Family should tell the truth, not comforting lies. The doorbell rings again. My stomach tightens as I glance at my watch. They're 15 minutes early, a power play. Typical Cynthia. "I'll make coffee," Rosa offers, slipping into the kitchen. When I open the door, they stand grouped on the porch. Mom's face holds a mask of injured pride. Dad stares down at his shoes. Nyla lingers behind them, arms wrapped around herself. "Come in." My voice sounds distant, calm, controlled. They move past me in silence, like mourners at a wake. No one speaks as they take their seats around the dining table. Nyla's breath catches when she notices the papers spread out before her. Dad's shoulders droop lower. Mom's lips press into a thin, pale line. Aunt Rosa brings the coffee, untouched by anyone. I stay standing. The silence stretches until Mom finally shifts in her chair. What's all this about, Deborah? If you're having financial trouble, stop. The word cuts through her avoidance. For once, just stop talking and listen. I slide a document toward her. This is the home equity line of credit you opened 4 years ago, $195,000, with Nyla listed as co-signer, stating she lived at the property. Dad closes his eyes briefly. This, I continue, sliding another paper forward, is my rental agreement from 12 years ago. It clearly states you're not allowed to use my financial details or claim I live there. I tap the next stack. And these bank statements showing monthly transfers. What did $100 from my account to yours? That's $82,000 over 4 years. Nyla's face pales. Mom, what is she saying? Our mother told me the house needed repairs. I explain evenly, eyes locked on Cynthia. A new roof. Foundation issues. She said you and Dad were struggling in retirement and asked me to help, so I sent money every month. My hand trembles slightly as I place down several photos. These are from the bank's security cameras, Mom depositing. My check's directly into the HELOC account. Cynthia straightens her back. I only did what I had to keep a roof over everyone's heads. You kept that roof, I reply steadily. With my money in my trust, money I earned working 60-hour weeks while repaying Nyla's failed cafe loan? Nyla's eyes widen. Cafe loan? You said it was just a refinance. Aunt Rosa speaks softly. Your sister co-signed for your business. When it failed, she paid every cent back. Dad finally looks up, his voice rough with guilt. Debbie, we never meant for it to go this far. Don't. I raise a hand. Good intentions don't erase fraud. Fraud? Mom repeats quietly. Cynthia stammers. We're family. Family doesn't betray each other, I reply calmly. Family also doesn't forge signatures on loan papers. Nyla's hands tremble as she stares at the documents. I didn't know, Deborah. Mom told me it was a refinance, that you had approved it. I believe her. Nyla was always favored, but never deceitful. Cynthia sniffs, then asks sharply, So what now? Do you want your parents arrested? Your sister and her kids homeless? Dad's head lifts suddenly. That's enough, Cynthia. His voice is sharper than I've ever heard in their 40 years of marriage. He looks at me. Debbie has every right to be angry. He lays his worn hands flat on the table. If you want the house, we'll transfer it. The side lot can be sold to cover what we owe. Cynthia goes silent, wringing her hands. I look at my father, once a proud carpenter who taught me to repair, not discard. His eyes reflect both guilt and relief, as though releasing years of secrets. I don't want your house, I say quietly. I just want this to be over. Aunt Rosa opens her notebook. I spoke with someone at First American Title. We can do a quick claim deed for the side lot today, directly to Deborah. We could sell it, Dad adds. The Miller boy next door has been wanting that piece of land for years. Says he wants to expand his garden. Fine, Mom says curtly. I don't need an apology, I admit, surprised at the truth of it. I just want peace. The room falls quiet again, but it's a new silence. Not full of resentment, but one that accepts what's been revealed. 2 weeks later, we meet at a title company downtown. The attorney explains the documents clearly and without emotion. Dad signs first, then Mom. Her pen hesitates, then she writes her name. I don't give speeches about forgiveness or blame. I sign where told and accept my copies. As we prepare to leave, Dad touches my arm. I'm sorry, Debbie, for everything. I nod once, holding my composure. Outside, Nyla approaches quietly. I'll pay you back, she says. Every cent. Take care of your kids, I tell her. Learn to stand on your own, she nods, eyes wet. I will. I drive home alone, windows open, autumn air rushing in. My phone rings, Jenna checking in. It's done, I tell her. How do you feel? I think about it. The anger still burns, but differently now. It's no longer wild, just focused. A steady fire that shapes instead of destroys. For the first time, I'm not carrying anyone else's burden. 3 days later, a certified check arrives from the land sale. I study the numbers knowing it won't make up for all I've lost. Not completely. But as I fold it into my wallet, I realize I've gained something more valuable: truth, boundaries, and freedom from everyone else's expectations. After 35 years, the only life I need to rebuild is my own. Morning. Sunlight spills across my kitchen. Counter in the small ranch home I've restored this past year. The 3-bedroom house overlooks the Flatirons, a view that still takes my breath away. Trace my finger along the smooth oak countertop, remembering how rough it once was. My phone vibrates. Nyla's name flashes on the screen. Thank you for letting me make things right. The kids miss you. I set my coffee down. Her name no longer stirs anger or guilt, just calm acceptance. Through friends, I've heard she's working hard now. 3 jobs. No shortcuts. Her daughter walks to school herself. Her son joined Little League. I type my reply carefully. I'm free Saturday afternoon if you'd like to bring them by. Her answer comes instantly. Just me first. We need to talk, I reply without hesitation. 2 o'clock. I have plans at 4. Boundaries now feel natural, not cold. Saturday arrives with light rain tapping the windows. When Nyla's small car pulls in, I notice the dented door and missing hubcap. No more luxury vehicles bought with borrowed money. She stands on my porch holding a small wooden box, rain clinging to her hair, undyed and simple for the first time in years. You look different, I say. Stepping aside, 3 jobs will do that, she answers, forcing a smile. No time for highlights when you're cleaning offices at night. I lead her to the kitchen where 2 mugs of tea wait. No wine, no pretense. She places the box between us. This is for you. Dad found it while clearing out the old house. I lift the lid. Inside is our grandfather's pocket watch, aged but still beautiful. The one thing I'd always wanted. How did you know? I ask. You mentioned it once when we were teens, she says softly. I wind it gently. The mechanism ticks to life. Maybe time doesn't erase mistakes, I say, but it can teach us to stop repeating them. We sit quietly as rain falls. The silence feels peaceful. She finally asks, what did you do with the money from the land sale? I didn't keep it, I reply. I opened college funds for Emma and Lucas. Her eyes widen. After everything we did? I'm done rescuing adults, I say evenly, but children deserve a chance. When she leaves an hour later, we don't hug or make promises about holidays. But something has shifted, like a bone that's finally healed correctly after years of pain. That evening, I sit on my porch swing, watching the sunset turn the mountains gold. My journal rests on my lap. Today's entry is simple. The softest revenge is peace and quiet. No bitterness, no need for payback. Just certainty that I've reclaimed myself. In that stillness, I finally feel free.